guys wonder why I hate women.
Secure the ballistics.
I might as well get something out of it, right?
My balls from getting bigger, you know.
NovemberHotel, thanks to the $20. How to make a game immersive by you. No offense to the other guy earlier, but I hope it's better.
What makes a game immersive? Is it the photorealistic graphics, or the cinematic cutscenes, or the polygon count of an onion?
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Immersion in video games is a widely discussed topic in the gaming industry and is often associated with graphical advancements.
It's funny, this video is 2 years old, right? It's just, I can't think of Kingdom Come Deliverance anymore without thinking of the second one. Kind of sad.
Games is a widely discussed topic in the gaming industry and is often associated with graphical advancements and realism. But I found that some of the most immersive games I've ever played look like this.
Oh my goodness!
I just finished my first ever playthrough of Fallout 1 a few days ago and was fully invested in the characters. I dove deep into understanding all the factions and their motives, and explored every bit of the wasteland that I could. So even without these onions, I was completely immersed in a game from 1997. So what made Fallout 1 immersive for me?
I would have been immersed if it wasn't for the fact that I streamed it. You know, streaming does kind of hurt immersion quite a bit when you're trying to be an entertainer. I was impressed the game lets you, you know, beat it without even meeting the master, though. That was kind of crazy.
And to ask the broader question again, what makes any game immersive? The answer will almost always depend on your own tastes, but I think there are some elements that objectively make a world feel more alive. And these are the things I find are most important to get me fully invested and immersed in a game.
Guys, this is my arch nemesis game right here. I don't know, most people forget because it's been so many years. I feel like, ironically, I'd probably enjoy it a little bit more if I played it now because, like, when I reviewed the game, I'd only been playing on PC like a year, so I have a much better feel for mouse and keyboard controls now, because like I was a console gamer my whole life. That being said, I think most of my core issues with the game relate to its like rock paper scissors or put the square in the square hole type combat. I hate that. Like, I don't want to put the fucking round peg in the round hole. If I can manage to shove it in the square hole, I should win. You know what I mean?
Game's world. Environmental storytelling is a way of delivering the story through the gameplay systems and the world design itself in a non-linear way.
It's funny, despite the soundtrack not being like one of the better ones, I do recognize the Kingdoms of Amalur music in the background here. Probably because I played the game twice, which given how, I don't know, non-replayable the game is, despite being an RPG, I probably shouldn't have played it twice. But I'm having flashbacks to other streams right now for some reason. It has nothing to do with this video, but I was thinking of the Disaster stream where I played the newly released DLC that they made for the game like 10 years after it came out, and I was under-leveled despite having beaten the game. I was under-leveled for the DLC they released, and we had to switch games.
It's both visual and auditory storytelling without the need of explicitly telling you what's happening through cutscenes or dialogue. It's the scenery, or the placements of enemies and items, the ambient sounds, or lack thereof, that set the stage and speak for themselves. BioShock is one of the best examples of how a game's environment alone can be effective at telling a story. If you were to remove the audio diaries and the characters that speak to you like Atlas or Tenenbaum, the world of Rapture would still convey an engrossing and haunting story through its visuals.
It is crazy. Again, this just shows how strong aesthetic is. You look at this, this is better looking, you know, at least more pleasing to the eye than most games now, and this came out in 2007. It's just that there's no fucking... Everyone sucks now. Like, BioShock is a very overrated game for various reasons, even disregarding the political propaganda aspect. I just don't think the shooting is very good. But the visuals are completely timeless. Like, people, I wouldn't be shocked that most people like the game more for the visuals than anything else.
Rapture visually represents the potential nightmare of a world with unregulated capitalism and objectivist morality, almost like current year America. In BioShock Infinite, the environments completely embody the theocratic American exceptionalism, and on the surface makes Columbia appear like this perfect, pure Christian society. until you start digging a little bit deeper and peeking into the cracks of their infrastructure.
What's so weird about this is they clearly had no idea what the fuck they were doing. Like, they want to portray, like, oh my god, look at, how horrifying this racist society is. And then they have the lead black woman who is, she's leading the rebellion. You go into, like, the alternate timeline, and she's, like, slaughtering innocent people and shit. Which, I mean, to be fair, that's probably realistic. But what message are you even trying to push right now? Like, what? You just completely went against the supposed, like, racism bad messaging about halfway through the game.
Sort of like Mormons in Utah. This is all done through visuals alone. The narratives and the dialogue of the BioShock games are great, but it's the environments that really sell the whole thing. The narratives and dialogue can only work if the world itself is already believable and established. In the first Dark Souls, there are so many memorable locations and revelations. The haunting music that evokes a remembrance for this home of the ancient dragons, this vast emptiness of a long, strange pathway of sand, the miles of trees still speculated and discussed about today on their true purpose, and to be greeted by an everlasting dragon at the pathway's end. Ash Lake is one of the most fascinating locations in the Souls franchise, and yet we know so little about it.
Yeah, that's why it's fascinating. Vati could, squeeze out a 45-minute video pulling bullshit out his ass, but in reality, yeah, we don't know anything, and that's what makes it interesting. Lore, I'll get off this frame. I don't know what the
curiosity and wonder that it elicits.
But yes, exactly.
The cool thing about environmental storytelling is that it requires a certain level of deductive reasoning from the player. It encourages exploration for the player to actively partake in the storytelling through discovery. No Bark Noonan might just seem like a crazy old geezer, but do a little bit of digging, and there's a good case to be made that No Bark might just be the chosen one from the first Fallout game.
If anyone asks, we never spoke.
Halo Combat Evolved is a game that you might imagine is a fairly straightforward, by-the-books.
I know I barely went into this in my Summer Game Fest video, but the rabbit hole with the remake is just sprint, third-person mode, 3 new levels with the guns from the other games, fucking one-liners. I can't remember if it was actually confirmed or if people were trolling, but I think there was people saying Cortana's gonna have more lines, saying focus M type shit. It's like, dude, what the That's why this was something you guys were saying in the video, and you said it in the stream as well. When I was going on one of my God of War rants, and I was saying, like, it's the most franchise ever, people were like, well, it's up there, but Halo, Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. My case for those, I guess, though, is I think the difference between what happened to God of War and what happened to Halo and Star Wars is, I think Star Wars is number one, to be fair. That Star Wars actually is number one. But in Halo's case, Halo kind of still looks like Halo if you squint. I don't think God of War even resembles God of War by any metric. So, yeah, Halo is twice as long as God of War, but I think God of War was way harder. Like Kratos did to those Korean pop stars that women like. Sorry, it was something I was thinking about, just like, I was just seething for no reason, because I think I was doing yard work or something. My brain was just wandering.
Linear FPS campaign, and in many ways it is, but it houses a lot of environmental storytelling through its missions, and there's no better example than in the mission 343 Guilty Spark. You land in a foggy swamp, a crashed Pelican dropship is nearby.
Where'd that come from? You had to be there earlier in the stream. Okay, long story short, to spoon feed people who weren't here earlier in the stream, there was a recent viral Twitter controversy where men seem to think that women find old Kratos attractive. Women on Twitter said no, only gay men find Kratos attractive. I went on this big schizo rant, said some kind of gay shit, and, I don't know, it was funny. Watch the VOD, I guess.
The storytelling of 343 Guilty Spark isn't completely spelled out for you, but if you pay at least a little bit of attention to your surroundings throughout, you're going to pick up on the foreshadowing and some amazing details. My favorite detail in the aftermath is being able to find the bodies of 2 Marines and 2 Jackals on top of a barrier, surrounded by ammunition, implying that the Covenant and the Marines, in this last moment, died fighting together against this new common enemy, holding the line against the Flood. Now this is another great strength of environmental storytelling. You are discovering it while actually playing the game. No need to sit through hours of cutscenes or dialogue.
There wasn't that big of a backlash when this came out. It was more minor because you could argue it was more a matter of taste. But the fact that this game has 20 hours of cutscenes. 20 hours. Like, it's sad because I think the actual action combat was decent, but 20 fucking hours of cutscenes. There's no story. Can you imagine? I know I've already said this a bunch of times, but can you imagine if movies were 20 hours long? Like, you have to sit in the theater for 20 fucking hours. I mean, the equivalent would be more like, you know, you just watch a 20-hour movie in chunks, like, at home. But I'm saying, like, an art form like this, does a visual medium. In a book, you can take your time. If you're a complete retard, it takes you 20 minutes to read a page. Or if you're just extremely ADHD and reread the same sentence 5 times because it's not processing, that's fine. You can take the books at your own pace. This, I'm at the mercy. I have no choice. There's nothing I can do except, I guess, the last resort is you skip cutscenes. But if you're skipping cutscenes, you should just get a fucking refund because it's slop. Like, especially when most of the game is cutscenes.
It's becoming more and more rare to find any media with dialogue that actually feels realistic or isn't a big pile of cringe, so games with genuine adult themes and dialogue is another massive way I can become immersed in a story. I often question why games are even rated M for mature these days because the dialogue is almost always geared towards the absolute lowest common denominator, with all the intelligence of a cucumber.
I just... Every time, man. That scene, how long was that scene? Like 7 or 8 minutes or something? Like, this was one of the first times where I was just like, what the fuck are we doing right now? Like, what are we actually doing? And yeah, I forgot about this, but yeah, she was a redhead in Ragnarok, and they changed her hair color in the new game. Like, we're literally at the point where when we're using the likenesses of actresses, it has to be literally them. Like, video games have reached the movie phase so completely that this is like, dude, this is the Brad Pitt video game. Brad Pitt's in it. Like, fuck you, you fucking normal. No, I hate you. God damn. I hate you. I hate you. It's a joke. It's a joke. I don't give a fuck about Deborah Ann Wall, whatever. She hit the fucking wall. That's what I should have said in the video. I'll say it in the review.
Ubisoft isn't known for amazing dialogue in their games, but I just finished another playthrough of Assassin's Creed 2, my personal favorite AC title, because I'm working on a retrospective of the game before the release of Mirage in October. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And it's incredible to pick out so many good bits of dialogue in the conversations. Ezio's interactions with every single NPC and character always felt believable and charming. The dialogue is huge for immersion for me in that game.
Be careful, Ezio. Do you know who that was?
My next conquest.
I don't think so, Ezio. That's Caterina Sforza, daughter of the Duca di Milano. Her husband is...
Husband?
See, her husband is the Lord of Forli.
Husband.
That woman is as powerful and dangerous as she is young and beautiful.
Sempre come una donna per me.
He doesn't even care that she is. Yeah, well, you know, video games used to be written by real humans. Now they're written by, you know, the lowest dregs of society. I'm so happy about that.
Now, I'm a fan of almost any art style. I may have stronger preferences than others, but these 3 games have wildly different art styles and visual styles, yet I would consider them some of the most immersive games I've ever played. I think what art style and visuals need to do is be consistent. From Software games always feel like you're inside a painting. The side-scrolling Ori games also achieve that same feeling. Borderlands has a look of a comic book, and Hi-Fi Rush is a bit similar with its cel-shaded art style. A game like Battlefield 1 went for a very photorealistic look, and all of these games can be described as immersive to me because they are consistently catering to their visual style. Now, I'm going to rag on Starfield a bit more here because there are times that the game looks pretty good, mostly when looking at landscapes or close-up textures, but the lighting of most areas is always inconsistent, with many indoor areas feeling...
This is a huge thing I've noticed for modern games because, you know, if you've seen one of my video thumbnails, you've seen them all. I just need a close-up of a face with good lighting, and you'd be shocked how hard that is for some games. Genuinely difficult to just get a character's face in a well-lit area. Yeah, that's realistic lighting for you.
Washed out or too dark, with conflicting light sources, and of course,
Oh yeah, this one doesn't even make sense. Genuinely, yeah, that one's just, what the fuck? I don't know.
all the characters are often incredibly ugly and even more uncanny than Cyberpunk. I don't know how Fallout 3 and New Vegas from over 10 years ago can have a more consistent visual style and art direction, with somehow even less ugly lighting and characters than Starfield, but it really is true.
Since video thumbnails are creatively bankrupt. At this point, though, that's like my thing. Like, the way you know it's one of my videos is if it looks like that, you know? The Starfield. The sad thing about the Starfield NPC thing is I feel like we've seen multiple other games that have similar looking characters. They're just never in first person, because I think even just subconsciously, a lot of this, you know, like, a lot of this stuff is just DEI stuff. They got to get that ESG funding and all that. You know, we talk about it a million times. But if the player sees it like it's really in your face, then it's distractingly horrific, right? So a lot of times when they have Starfield tier NPCs, it's not going to be a game where you look at them. You're going to look at them in a fucking Bethesda RPG. Of course you are. That's like half the fucking appeal of these games. That's why it's so absurd.
Starfield is simultaneously one of the best looking games out right now, and also one of the absolute ugliest. And I think it goes back to a matter of believability. A world doesn't have to necessarily be super realistic to be believable.
And we were talking about Kingdoms of Amalur earlier. Here it is, right here.
It just has to adhere to its tone, setting, and atmosphere. Games made in the Source engine, like Portal and Half-Life, are some of the most immersive gaming experiences I've ever had, and I didn't play those games until just last year. They have a timeless visual style, and you're given a lot of freedom with the gameplay sandbox that makes those games fully engross you in the experience. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker has a very cartoon and stylized art direction, but I can't help but feel fully immersed when sailing the sea at night, or exploring the various dungeons. Battlefield 1 is a good example of realism done right. It isn't historically accurate to World War I all the time, but it feels believable even though a lot of the weapons and means of battle were only
all of the
of that time.
automatic
it is
weapons.
A video game at the end of the day, so making
that's a
Battlefield
big
1
one.
be a trench warfare simulator would probably be incredibly boring. But one underrated aspect of immersion that doesn't get a lot of attention is in the interactivity of a game's world. If a game has a train, can you hop on and ride it? Can I kill any NPC in the game, even the named and important ones? If I have a map...
And fucking Jank Slop Early Access Strange Seed, you could kill him. You could kill all the NPCs, dude. I mean, it would definitely be questionable if you couldn't, given it was a, you know, the whole point of the game is killing things to mutate, but I'm glad you could. Even the Jank Slop Early Access dev team knew you should be able to kill NPCs.
Map of the world, is it in a menu, or does my character actually pull out a map and read it? Far Cry 2, Firewatch, and Sea of Thieves do maps perfectly. Or using your Pip-Boy in Fallout to access the entirety of your UI is another great example of in-game interactivity. It lessens the layers of video gaminess and makes even the menus feel in-universe. Again, Starfield really struggles here with 60% of the gameplay and exploration all taking place inside menus and loading screens, rather than say a more clever system like what No Man's Sky has implemented. Also, why is there no gore in that game? Isn't the game rated M for mature? Why?
That's just crazy. They literally just basically ported over Fallout 4 shooting, but they removed gore. They purposely made the most sanitized game ever of all time. It is so mind-boggling.
Bethesda went out of their way to remove gore from Starfield despite being a staple in every game since Fallout 3 is just beyond me. It makes the game feel much less reactive to your violent actions when enemies just kind of fall over. But I digress, that's enough about Starfield. So what makes a game immersive? Well, I'm going to try and sum it up in a short paragraph. It's a sense of grandeur, mystery, and player discovery, world building through character dialogue, and environmental storytelling. A lot of show, don't tell. In-game interactivity, and a consistent art and visual direction. This is what immerses players in a game. And so many different types of games can reach that criteria. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section.
Yeah, I agree. Good video. Solid. Subscribe to November Hotel. Since he gave me $20. That's how low my price is these days. But it was a good video though.